the 43rd edition of Democracy at the Crossroads. In last several days, the Modi government has been making a big hype about its achievements in the economic field. It all began with the presentation of the budget on 1st February. Then it continued with the release of a white paper on the Indian economy a week later, that is on 8th of February. Both the budget and the white paper compared 10 years of Modi government to 10 years of Manmohan Singh government. We were told that Manmohan government inherited a vibrant economy from Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but turned it into a basket case by their inefficiency, corruption and paralysis of decision making. Whereas Modi government, which inherited a Bimaru economy, transformed it into the fastest growing economic warhorse of the world. What is the fact and what is the fiction? For an answer, let us turn to some of the well-known economists and economic commentators. Commentators who are non-partisan, who have no axe to grind but to tell the truth. Let us shortlist three of them. A.K. Bhattacharya, editorial director of the Business Standard; Arvind Subramanian, former chief economic advisor of the Modi government; and Swaminathan Shankaleshwari Aiyar, the celebrated columnist of the Times of India. Let's start with Swaminathan Aiyar, whose column this Sunday, yesterday, exposed Modi government's half-truths and downright lies. He begins his column saying, "The white paper sounds more like a pre-election diatribe than a cool, objective analysis." Then, Mr. Aiyar goes on to contradict the white paper's assertion and makes a very pertinent point. That UPA 1 achieved record GDP growth with little inflation. Yes, he says, UPA 2 suffered double-digit inflation. But was that due to economic mismanagement of the UPA government? No, says Mr. Aiyar emphatically. He explains, the price of oil had skyrocketed to $110 per barrel in the years leading to 2014, stoking high inflation. Global food prices also went through the roof in 2008 and stayed high till 2014. Mr. Aiyar further adds, India's minimum support price had to be raised steeply to ensure Indian farmers were not left behind their foreign rivals. So UPA 2 were just unlucky to face a huge inflationary global climate, Mr. Aiyar says. Then Mr. Aiyar turns to the data covering the period of Modi regime. He writes, Narendra Modi came to office in 2014 when oil was $110 per barrel, yes, but within 6 months the price crashed to $45, mind you, $45 per barrel. Mr. Aiyar says it was a case of Achhe Tare, lucky stars, rather than Achhe Din that the Prime Minister talked about. Mr. Aiyar admits that the price of oil went up with the Ukraine war. but he says it soon fell. It's still barely $78 per barrel. Mr. Aiyar deploys the white paper's proposition that every economic setback under UPA was mismanagement and every lucky break during the NDA rule was good management. Mr. Aiyar poo-poos another aspect of the white paper's claim. He says, the white paper contrasts NDA's good response to COVID's fiscal challenge with UPA's supposedly bad response to the Great Recession of 2008. Look who is talking. Mr. Aiyar watched the white paper saying UPA's highest fiscal deficit at the peak of world recession was 6.6% of the GDP. But under the NDA, the fiscal deficit shot up to 7.5% of the GDP during COVID. 7.5%. This has come down gradually, but still it's very high at 5.8%. Which is comparable to what was the situation under the UPA during the Great Recession. Mr. Aiyar reminds us the big infrastructure that started under Atal Bihari Vajpayee was greatly expanded by the UPA. The NDA on its part made infrastructure a sector to boast about. But then Mr. Aiyar asserts, this is the cumulative effort of both UPA and NDA. Mr. Aiyar doesn't stop there. He further says, the Jam Trinity, Jan Dhan Yojana, Aadhaar and mobile phones that the BJP boasts of had its origins in UPA initiatives. He says Swachh Bharat was built on the UPA's National Rural Health Mission. Mr. Aiyar goes on. The Awas Yojana, free housing for the poor, started under the Congress party, led UPA. And, of course, has been taken to new heights by NDA. Even the goods and services tax, Mr. Aiyar says, evolved through both the regimes. That is not all. Mr. Aiyar asserts that the cleanup of companies and banks left bossed by the Great Recession happened under both UPA and NDA. NDA cannot surely claim credit for it. So, Mr. Aiyar concludes, in sum, the NDA adopted, improved and expanded many UPA initiatives. Today, India is an economic power to reckon with. Mr. Aiyar says this is not due to the bad rule by one party and good rule by another. It is the cumulative effect of reforms and innovations since 1991. And the credit should be shared by both the parties, and rather all the parties concerned. This is what Swaminathan Aiyar said this Sunday. This should be a mirror to the propaganda machinery of the Modi government, which believes it can camouflage the truth with its half-truths and falsehoods. How the ruling establishment's falsehoods have been laid bare by A.K. Bhattacharya and Arvind Subramanian, we'll discuss in the next episode of the Democracy at the Crossroads. Thank you.